and start from the beginning. Some of these, oh yeah. Oh, actually, we were doing problems very similar to these, and you guys were earning the extra credit on Friday, okay? So you need to remember, just plain old solving for x, you're doing the opposite. So like, I'm going to start with this one. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. That will make a 0 pair. So all I have left is negative x. This I will combine. That's negative 10 plus negative 4. That's negative 14. I am going to move a little bit fast, which means you can go home and watch this on YouTube. Or at the end of class, and you can ask me questions. Dividing by a negative 1, because there's an invisible 1 right here. Dividing by negative 1. So that's x equals 14 would be the answer. Okay? This one here, this is negative 4 times x equals 20. So the opposite of times is to divide by what's with the x on both sides. When I divide, if this x is negative 4, I divide by a negative 4. So x equals negative 5 for that one. Over here, notice how this is g over 4. I'm going to leave that alone because I know I can do the opposite of subtract 5, which is add 5. And then I'm going to do a negative 7 plus 5. That will give me negative 2. Then I still have g over 4. So solving is about doing the opposite. G divided by 4. What's the opposite of g divided by 4? That's to times it by 4. Because these 4's cancel out, I have g equals negative 8. Because negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Number 4 is a system of equations where, if you notice, there's 3 methods. We could graph both of them. If they were both y equals and y equals, we would graph. But this one only has one y equals, which means it has a loser. The loser needs to get removed. So remember I told you if you're looking at just which of the following shows the correct substitution step, is you're looking to make sure there's x's only, so that could be an answer. Here, if you see x's, and you see y's, that means that cannot be an answer. Because when you plug it in, you should only see x's or only see y's. Same thing here. There's an x here, but there's a y here. That cannot be an answer because that is not a correct substitution step. The answer is going to be A, because I would take away this y, which leaves me with 3x plus 2. Plug in, I'm substituting in the y spot. So A would be the answer for that. Number 5, we're going to skip that one. Skip. Number 6, we talked about discrete or continuous. This one y'all should be able to do. Discrete means you are counting things. Continuous means you measure things. So anybody want to tell us CDs would be what? Discrete. Height would be continuous because you can count the number of CDs. Your height, you would measure it. Temperature, you would measure. Temperature, you would measure. That is continuous. And video games would be discrete because I count the number of video games I have. Drawing example of each type of correlation. Remember we talked about positive correlation would be like if the dots are going up and to the right. Negative correlation would be moving down and to the right. No correlation means they're just like ants that got stepped on and they start going crazy. Okay? Same thing with positive slope. Up and to the right. Down and to the right for negative. And no correlation, that wouldn't even be possible for a line. Okay? Identify each of the following as linear or nonlinear and proportional or non-proportional. Remember, linear are the normal ones that have like per, each, or every. The way to identify nonlinear is when you see the word double or triple, or if you see it's like half each time. That will be a nonlinear. Okay? Proportional means it has no y-intercept, or should I say the y-intercept is at 0, 0, which means it passes through the origin. All right. So it says Mark went to the rodeo. It cost him $10 to get in and $1 for each ride. He paid $10 to get in. Should I put an X with that? No, because if it's at $10 each time, then that would be different. But it's just $10 to get in plus 1 for each ride. Notice this is linear. However, is it proportional? No, it's non-proportional because it has that extra plus 10. Only equations that do not have an extra b, or like y equals mx plus b, if it has a b, it's non-proportional. Question?
And it's proportional only the
Yes, when it's proportional, it only has a number with the X. Like Lucy has a phone plan that costs $30 a month, so it's $30 per month. This one is linear, and it's also proportional because it does not have any extra B's getting added. It doesn't have any constants. Therese, whoever that is, has an ant farm where the population doubles. Keyword doubles automatically means non-linear, which automatically means non-proportional. If it's non-linear, it can't be proportional because proportional means it must be a straight line. Number 9, write a math sentence for each of the following. When it says a math sentence, it doesn't want an equation. There should be no equal signs here. There should be no inequalities. Twice a number, that means 2 times a number. More than 2, we're adding 2 to that. Remember, more than means to add 2. I'm sorry, more than 2 means to add 2. If it was more than 3, you would add 3. If it was more than something, you would add it. Less than, right here, 3 less. 3 less. Then double a number. 3 less than. If somebody has $5 less than you, that's when you say, oh, well, I need to subtract 5 from how much I have.
That's when you rob them.
Please, no robbing people. Number 10, everybody needs to be careful. This should be one of the easiest ones because we know that each quarter is worth 25 cents. So Q has to be with the 25 cent. D is worth 10 cents, which is a dime. I don't know why people are choosing this one. Does Q represent 10 cents and dimes represent 25? No. Does Q represent 10 cents and D represent dime? I'm sorry, D represent 25? No. However, if this represents money and this represents money, this 23 better be talking about some money. Is it talking about how much money? Or no. So the answer should be B for that one because this is the one that talks about money, money, and money. Everything in the equation has to talk about money, money, money. This one right here, number 11, when I solve this one, it's also going to help you with numbers 23, 24, and 27. So I'm going to write 23, 24, and 27 because whatever you do to this one, you also have to do with 11, 23, 24, 27. And it's all about solving for slope-intercept form. So I'm going to rewrite this top one so I can solve for slope-intercept form. Remember, box the y term, do the opposite of the x term. Then you're forming a new equation over here. So that's 15 minus 2x. Then I'm dividing by exactly what's with the y. Only the number that's with the y. So that's y equals 5 minus 2 over 3x. This was positive divided by positive, gave me a positive. Negative divided by positive gave me a negative. So this is the first equation. Please don't mind the people that are sleeping. Those people have exempted the final, or maybe they'll just take it again this summer. I don't know. So don't let other people sleep and let you think you can sleep. I'm going to write this one over here. So this one, once again, I'm boxing the y. I'm moving the opposite of x to the other side. So that's y equals negative 12 plus 5x. Is there anything to divide in front of the y this time? No, so I can just divide everything by 1 if you want to, or you can just be done. The problem is finding the match that goes with it, because each of these can be written, like if you write it oppositely, that's not a word, but negative 2 over 3, x goes in front and the positive 5 in back. That could also be written like that. This one, you can also put the minus 12 in the back and then the 5x in the front. So try to find the match that goes with that one. Peter runs 3 miles per hour. We're writing an equation. Don't talk crap about Peter. Peter runs 3 miles per hour. That's just y equals 3h if you want to use hours, or y equals 3x. I don't know. This one, let's just think back. Would this one be proportional or non-proportional? Proportional. This is definitely proportional. Thank you, because it doesn't have something else getting added to it. It's just Peter runs 3 miles, that's it. Kirsten has $10 in the bank and puts 5 more in every week. Let me show you what somebody did earlier. They wrote the 10, they put the x with it, then they put a plus 5. No, thank you. Just because they give you that number first doesn't mean it's the slope and it has to have an x with it. It should be 5x plus 10. Or it could have been 5m plus 10 or 5w plus 10, okay? This one is non-proportional because it has the extra 10 with it. How can you tell from a table if the function is linear? How can you tell from a table if the function varies directly? Please take a look at number 15 because that's going to help us determine if it's, I'm going to show you using an example for 13 and 14. So if you want to know this and this, look at number 15, which is on the next page. Ready?
You don't want it.
Please be quiet, Michael. All right. Your name tag says Michael on your shirt. All right. Is the table linear? If a table is linear, I need to check and see if my delta y divided by delta x is the same each time. So this increases by 5, and this increases by 1. That's how I'm going to tell if it's linear, because this again will be 5 divided by 1, 5 divided by 1. Or it could say 10 divided by 2, which is still the same thing as 5 divided by 1. So is it linear? Yes, because it has the same delta y over delta x. Delta y over delta x is the same. That's why it's linear. Is the table proportional? Proportional means I'm just basically going to take y divided by x and see if that's the same each time. For example, 20 divided by 1 equals 20. But what is 25 divided by 2? Does that equal 20 again? Somebody needs to get their calculator. 25 divided by 2 does not equal 20. It's like 12.5. So you can say no, because all of the y divided by x's have to be the same. Just the y divided by x. Does the table vary directly? No, because direct and proportional mean the same thing. It's just a nickname for each other. What is the equation that will go with this table? Stat edit. You need to use stat edit to write your equation for this table. All right, I'm going to pause it. You guys. All right, so press stat edit. Then you can just start putting the x's in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then start putting your y's in there. 20, 25, 30, 35. But you got to make sure if there's, let's put all of them in there. 5, and then 40. After you put it in stat edit, you got to remember what to do after that. If you're whispering to your friend, you probably forgot, huh? Hold on a second. So then I think if you press stat again, go over to calc, go down to number 4. Excuse me, there's a lot of talking for people that need to be passing a final in a couple, well, tomorrow. 5x plus 15, that's the equation. 5x plus 15. Draw the linear parent function. Does anybody remember what the linear parent function is? Y equals x for the person who's not even taking the final. He's the only one that knew. If you want to make a table, put it in the y equals. What do you notice about this table? Everything is the same. Zeros with 0, 1s with 1s, 2 with 2s, 3 with 3, 4 with 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Even the negatives like that too. This one goes straight through like this. It's the perfect diagonal, even if you had a ruler, hopefully. All right. Find the rate of change for each and describe what it means. The rate of change. Some people think it's up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1. Is it up 1 over 1?
Yeah.
No, look at this. Does this really count by ones? No, this is going up by 20s. This slope is actually 20 because it's up 20 over 1, up 20 over 2. This counts by ones. This counts by 20, so the slope is 20. Is it proportional? Yes, because it's a straight line that passes through the origin. This table over here, you want to know the slope? That means your best friend is stat edit. Stat edit is your best friend. So, or you could do delta y over delta x, but stat edit might be a little quicker. Somebody said it's 15. It's actually 65. You were right the first time. Does the table vary directly? Does it? Yeah, this one does too. How did you check? Because you did y divided by x. Y divided by x. Y divided by x, huh? You copied somebody? Number 18, Mario has $45 in his lunch account. Every day, his bully takes $10 from him. Is that what it says? Exactly. Y'all don't know because y'all not paying attention. It says every day he uses $3 at lunch. So he started with 45, which is kind of weird because this scale is weird. Then each time it's subtracting. Is this going to be discrete or continuous? Discrete. This is discrete. Yeah. And it's 45 minus 3x, or you can put negative 3x plus 45. The 45 has to be a positive amount of money. The 3 is the negative. Remember. So then you can put it in your calculator. Put it in your calculator and I'll help you learn how to find those. So in the y equals 45 minus 3x. If you have questions, just wait until I get over the review, about 5 more minutes, and then I can answer your questions individually. Remember, once you put one of these equations in your calculator, the way to find the x-intercept is to look for which number is paired up with 0 right here. And the way to find the y-intercept is to see which number is paired up with 0 right there. There's a difference. It's just like putting on your right shoe and your left shoe. If you don't know which one goes, then you ain't been paying attention. That's her business. I do know. The x, and some people think the x-intercept is 3 because the 3 is with the x. No, that ain't nothing. That's the slope. Okay, so chill out. So 45 is the y-intercept, and the x-intercept is, it's either 15 or negative 15. Let me double check. I believe it's 15. It's going to be 15. It's a positive 15. All right. Finding the slopes of these is simply rise over run. But be careful because I know the graphs are so tiny. So you might want to pause the video and then you can actually find it because I'm about to give the answers right now. So you better pause it if you don't want to know ahead of time. This one should be 2 over 3. This one's negative 3 or negative 3 over 1. And this one is just a plain old 1. Number 20 is stat edit again. Stat edit just solved us or saved us lots of time because this is like the 3rd problem that you need to use stat edit on. So make sure you understand and remember how to use stat edit. That's 3 problems you can get right on the final. If you don't want to use stat edit, then you're going to have to do it the long way, or the normal way, should I say. Delta y over delta x. I just put 8, 9, 0, 3. That's one way to do it. How did 9 get to 3? I subtracted 6. How did 8 get to 0? I subtracted 8. So the slope is negative 6 over negative 8, but it needs to be reduced. Negative divided by negative, now that means the slope is actually positive. And that looks like it would be if I divide by 2, I get a 3. Divide by 2, I get a 4. So 3 over 4. Try that one yourself. Number 21, these are the big ones because these do not follow the normal y equals mx plus b. These do not follow that normal thing. Y equals 4, it's saying y equals 4 because it touches at the y equals 4, it goes this way. That slope is a 0 slope because all horizontal lines have 0 slope. And then this one over here is x at the negative 3, goes up and down, and it's an undefined because all vertical lines have undefined slopes. Number 22 should be extremely easy if you remember the whole y equals mx plus b. As long as you're not playing around with your friend, it should be easy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the first part of the review here.